My mother told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
I'm Sky.
We're here to talk to you about tragedy. Not really. We're here to talk about our favorite tragic character. He's not even a character. Our favorite tragic individual, known as JiSoo. Is he tragic?
Sweet baby JiSoo.
Sweet baby. Our sweet child.
Poor tragic JiSoo.
Oh, so for those of you who
were doing this, and she said, "Do you guys have to say sweet baby JiSoo every time you say his name?" I said, "No, I think we're okay. We might go with tragic JiSoo every time."
No, sweet baby as well. For anyone listening who doesn't know who JiSoo is, we are not talking about the Blackpink singer. We are talking about the actor, the handsome young man who is constantly cast as the guy who does not get the girl in several dramas of varying quality. But with very few exceptions, he ends up horribly alone every time. And we love him so much.
We love him so much.
So we're going to talk about how the first drama that each of us saw him in, or?
Yes.
Sure. My first was Sassy Go-Go, and I was super new to dramas at the time. So, like, I didn't even have that concept of, like, second lead can't get the girl. So, like, I mean, he's tragic, and it's so sad, and he's in love with her. And, I mean, the other guy is, like, going to be her brother. Her mom is dating his dad. I'm like, it has to be him. He has it. And my poor sisters who have been watching dramas for a while, I was like, I'm watching this show. And they're like, oh, sweetie. And I'm like, no, because, like, the other guy is going to be her brother. So he's going to get the girl. And they're like, oh, no, sweetie. No. So it's like, come on. Yeah. And then it was Scarlet Heart was like right at the same time. I think Scarlet Heart was like starting at the same time, or as I was ending the other one or something. And it was like, the kid cannot catch a break. Like, he cannot catch a break. I was so heartbroken for him though with Sassy Go-Go. Like, I was just like, really?
My first drama was also Sassy Go-Go, and he made like a really big impression as a good actor, probably in the scene where he immediately tries to kill himself upon the show beginning. Like, ooh. And to be honest, that drama, I was very surprised at the graphic nature of his suicidal attempts. But God, he was such a little tragic being in that, wasn't he? Like, everything in his life sucked so much.
Like, every episode.
Friend, right?
It was like,
his friend was so good. That bromance was so good.
I know. Like, everything about his character was just sad. It was like, he's suicidal. His dad's just the worst dad on the planet. Like, just an evil man. Like, he's got clearly social issues, which is why he's a jerk to everyone. His best friend basically snakes the girl he likes out from under him, despite being her stepbrother. Like, it's just an all around and then you get to Scarlet Heart, and Jesus. Even when he wins, he loses.
I haven't seen Scarlet Heart, but my first Jisoo was Strongman Dobok-zoon, which he's actually not very nice in that show. No. So, like, it never was, like, I never felt sorry for him, like, that he wasn't going to get the girl. There were, like, some cute moments, but kind of in the grand scheme of the whole show, I just wasn't feeling him. So I didn't really know the impact of Jisoo until I started, talking to people on Twitter, and that's what really started it. And then Sassy Go-Go I watched, and that's just tragedy upon tragedy. And then the other characters have tragedy too, so then it's like you don't know what to think and where it's gonna go.
I find that the title of that show is it's very misleading. You feel like you're in for like and like the first like half of the first episode, you feel like you're in for just like a fun like, oh, cheerleader, dance crew, fun times, and then suddenly you're like, oh god,
no, this is it.
Everything is horrible.
What did I get into?
What I always say about Strong Woman is the fact that it did not give me second lead syndrome, like, is tragic. Like, it's a sign of the fact that, like, to me, it wasn't that good of a drama. Because if you can't give me second lead syndrome with Jisoo, then you have failed. You have failed in your objective.
I'm gonna
be honest. That tragedy. We needed that like level of tragedy. There's like the not getting the girl tragedy, and then not winning like over the audience's heart tragedy.
Exactly.
I had more second lead syndrome with him in the male lead. Than female lead.
Of course you did. Of course.
Hey. Don't throw stones in glass houses. That's what I'm saying. But yes.
So I saw Strong Woman Bong Soon. I kind of had second lead syndrome a little bit, but he was such a slowpoke with even halfway liking her that there was no way. So I mean, I wasn't destroyed about that whatsoever, but he was cute, so I mean, it worked. And then I watched an episode or two of Sassy Go-Go Cheer Up, and yeah, because it started off all happy, I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam, and then it was way not, and I was like, I'm gonna put this aside for now. So I actually have not picked it back up because of how tragic I know it is. But pretty much through you
not
guys.
That tragic though. Sassy Go-Go's is like, it is uplifting. Like it's tragic that he doesn't get the girl, but even that's not that tragic. Like they stayed best friends. Like they're still all three of them best friends, and like his best friend knows that he likes his girlfriend, and he is totally cool with it. He's like, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah, there's an arc on it that it kind of comes back around to
like
wrapping up things.
Have never met a person in real life who would find out that their best friend is in love with their girl and be like, oh,
that's cool.
Oh,
well,
he's joking. He's like, if he ever treats you bad, I'm right here.
It's like, it's not really a joke, is it? Like,
I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I do understand it in terms of like, because the friend really was his only confidant and the only person who was continuously helping him through all the crap that he was dealing with his dad, especially, that I can see that like out of every single person in the world, he might only be the one person that he'd be okay with that situation happening and playing out like that. But poor Jesus.
I've literally seen a single drama where he actually gets the girl. Just one. And even that, it's a bit iffy, because when they start dating, she's married and he's a lawyer, and she hires him to help her get a divorce.
And what's the name of that one?
Fantastic. Which is a very...
I've not seen that one yet.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it is, and it's a surprisingly sad drama. He's not even like, they're not even the main couple. They're like the third. Like, there's...
Okay.
Yeah, but at least, you know, he gets to ride a motorcycle and look good, so...
There you go.
And maybe vaguely get the girl.
Well, he does get the girl. In the end, they, like, drive off into the sunset together.
On the motorcycle?
I believe so, if I remember. It's been a while since I saw it, but I believe that is how his arc ends. Her husband was a douche anyway. Like, you'd have all been like, divorce him. Like, when you watch it. So it's not one of those where it's like, oh, like, home wrecker. Like, they would have gotten divorced anyway.
I think the biggest thing from Strong Woman was that whole concept when she would see him and he had like a halo or like touch him and stuff, and it was like, and just remember on like Twitter and the internet, everybody was just like, "Yep, same girl."
Yeah, yeah. I think I even posted a little like, that's all of us, girl. No worries. But like, how dare he look so good in that dress?
And dance that well.
How dare he?
Seriously.
He looked so good. Like,
It's not okay.
like jealous right here. And then he likes to show up like in his friends' dramas, which is always as
weightlifting therapy when he was there. Like, I could just imagine knowing that he and Joo-hyuk are like such good friends, and then they're having that whole conversation, and he's going like, "I'm pretty cute, aren't I?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, so much better than that other guy." Like, you just know that he was like there behind the cameras, like, I and find out later they're dating at the time.
I know, right? Like, oh, you
know, it's like best friend. He had to know that they were dating, so it makes it even funnier. Like, it's just like, oh, that was good. That was a good cameo.
Yeah, that was a cute little cameo because like it didn't go on too long. It had a purpose in the story, which sometimes cameos don't.
And it wasn't painful.
Yeah, he was just there to just be chill. Now, if we're talking like painful cameos, we look at Doctors.
Oh, I haven't watched Doctors, but I know what happens.
Okay, first off, I have problems with this drama, Doctors. Specifically, she ends up with her homeroom teacher. I know that it's not until like
later,
10 years later, but that's still fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Like, no, like I know like he's like young and hot or whatever, but like, and secondly, do they have to play him dirty that way? Do they have to cause like Truck of Doom, Jisoo? He could have just come in and come out. It would have been fine. But no.
They needed that level of tragedy. He wasn't at that level yet, so they needed it.
Tragic enough. They needed, like, it wasn't tragic enough that he clearly did not get the girl that he like pining for in the beginning, but they have to like off him or something. I don't remember if he dies. I didn't really like that drama that much, but I don't think he does. I think he's just like horribly, debilitatingly injured.
I don't know. I've only seen that one clip.
And I'm pretty sure
he's randomly.
Pretty sure he's like married with kids too. Like there was like a whole anyway. They done him dirty.
Do you think maybe it's just in his contracts whenever he signs up for one of these dramas, like you have to meet a minimum level of tragedy in order to have me sign on to this show?
He just finds it fun. Like he's like, I need a challenge in my acting,
that's
and
his
I
thing.
don't just want to be the like romantic lead.
Yeah, I don't want to be
trick
just
him?
cute.
Do they trick him and like, here, this is gonna be the first one where the second lead gets
Don't worry, buddy. You're gonna get it this time. No worries. And then they're like, yeah, we're kidding.
No.
They hooked him up with Scarlet Heart. They were like, you are going to get to marry the girl. This is what we're telling you. You get to marry her. Really? Sweet.
You're like, sweet. I finally win. It's like, oh, but spoiler alert. She's gonna have your brother's baby and be in love with him and then just die. So
good time.
Enjoy. Good time. You lose when you win. Yeah. And then he's got like a new show coming out where it seems
to be the lead, but
yeah.
Lead.
And the name has something to do with First Love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes us all sketchy about that.
But also, I think those conference pictures, like he was in the single chair, and then the other two were in the like double chair, and I was like, come on, guys, what's going on here?
All the actors make sure that doesn't happen too. It should have been his manager saying, no, you cannot.
Unless he's like trying to really like mess with everyone. He's like, listen, I just want to throw people off because I know who I am and how people perceive me.
Give me the single chair.
Yeah. Or it's like, he has a reputation to maintain.
Yeah, he's got to be tragic. He can't get the girl, so no, don't give me that double seat.
No love seat with the girl. Put her with the other guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy like usually plays, I forget what his name is, but he usually plays second male leads too.
Oh.
So
is this like the battle?
The battle of the second leads coming up.
They'll just lose tragically to the other second male lead.
The girl.
I don't know. I'm calling it now that he gets the girl, but it's all a bittersweet flashback. They like bump into each other years later and have this whole big memory of their first love, but go off in separate directions, walk past each other in the airport, and it's done. He gets the girl, but not ultimately.
Or they
That's my call.
They pull an uncontrollably fond on us and just kill her.
Or him.
Or someone.
Although it's less tragic if he dies, right? We have to see him crying.
That's true. He needs to die. He needs his tragic moment. She needs to be the one to go.
Yeah.
Or they both
we've already planned this whole drama. We got this.
Yeah. Yep.
No need to see it.
Well, that's a good segue into the game, though. Tragically Ever After.
Tragically Ever After. We're going to try and come up with the most tragic JiSoo's story we can come up with. The most tragic of all tragic drama plot.
Yeah.
Did anybody have any?
I think it has to start. Okay. Putting on my creativity cap. Mm-hmm. So we open up with him already having the girl. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm exactly what I was thinking.
A fast one on you. But then they get in a fight, and she like runs away, right? Runs away, and he tries to follow her, but then he gets truck-a-doomed and is now in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And she like leaves him because she was a jerk anyway. Now there has to be like, I don't know, a hot nurse maybe like.
Or the first person on the scene was like really cute.
Or like EMT, a hot EMT.
Okay.
But there also has to be like a hot male nurse who's also in love with the EMT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they both, both see him. Like he sees both of them together like at the day of this incident.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like maybe they're both rushing him down on the gurney like through the halls.
Okay. See, my concept was similar. Starts with him, has the girl, and they're going to get married. It's on the way to their wedding. She is in a horrible car accident and amnesia.
Amnesia.
Right? Amnesia. So then, she's his fiance. They're supposed to be married. Maybe they are even actually married. They filled out. You know how they do, right? They fill out
the registration beforehand.
They have so they've actually registered even maybe. And so she comes back. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who he is. And his best friend helps him to help her remember. They try to recreate the moments and stuff.
Okay.
But falls in love with the best friend. Being away in the end because he loves her and he wants her to be happy.
I definitely watched that. 100%. 100%. Oh, another idea. If we're going by typical K-drama stuff. He's like an upstanding cop.
He likes playing cops. Okay.
He does. Cops are a good, easy foil. But then he gets convicted of a crime he didn't commit. I'm going fabricated city with this. He then escapes from jail and with a band of members tries to right the wrongs. Falls in love with one of them. She gets killed by the cops in the second last episode.
Is the last episode just him crying and being tragic?
him at her grave at the columbarium, just being like.
But it's got to jump in time too. It's got to jump in time, and there's got to be lots of flashbacks.
Yeah. The last episo's all
flashbacks. Or was she an undercover cop who is with the crew, and she's the one that betrays them all?
And in the last episode, you see her.
She's
looking at him.
A real she destroyed everything. I need to back in jail.
Wouldn't there be more anger than tears at that point, though?
Guys, I feel like it could still be because she broke his heart. and she betrayed them. That's even worse.
Died, she betrayed him. She broke his heart. He's mourning his best friends who also died because they got involved in his crazy hijinks.
And then he kills himself, and we
go.
end this. We Heartless City this. Go with death. Oh,
I didn't know we were gonna go that far.
Why aren't we drama writers?
Murdered by like corrupt, prison officials or something. They made it look like a suicide. Dun dun dun. Now we can have a sequel.
Yeah.
Because she's guilty, and sequel about how she comes to like realize that he was innocent, and she needs to like right her wrongs from the first season.
And she needs to cry the entire series.
Then it's tragedy carries on even after he's gone.
Yes.
All the flashbacks.
Perfect.
In the
Perfect. All the flashbacks of him.
She's pregnant.
Oh. Oh, guys.
And then maybe throw in a birth secret.
Oh, shit. No, we gotta become drama writers. Clearly, Korea's missing out on all of this genius.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I've got a less tragic idea that I think would be hilarious. And
Okay.
It's not tragic. So you set it up like a typical. This could never work in Korea, unfortunately. And I think Amanda probably already knows where I'm going with this. You finally cast him and Nam Joo-ha in a drama together as like the two opposite male leads who are both after the same girl but end up falling for each other.
Yep.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
If that ever existed, it would end tragically.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. This would be the ultimate non-tragic ending because like it would be so unexpected that he would not only never get the girl but get the guy instead.
But it could be like their foreign like drama appearance because everybody else does it. So
like they always show up on the Taiwanese dramas and are badly done.
Yeah, because they don't actually need to like speak the language. They just like have to move their mouth a little bit, and then they just throw in the person doing the dubbing.
The bad dubbing that always shows up. I could see it. A Taiwanese drama.
I could also see him actually being like, okay, I'll join that.
Yeah.
I don't think there'd be an issue on it.
I feel like he'd be into that sort of thing. Well, okay. I'm not.
Don't at us.
I'm not saying he's gay. He might be. Statistically speaking, some of them have to be gay. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he probably would be cool with that.
Yeah.
As an actor.
Yeah. He doesn't have any qualms about it.
Like he clearly didn't mind having his butt grabbed and and wearing cross dressing. So I feel like he'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was okay with being in that one indie movie that we couldn't even handle the trailer of.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh
man, what was the name of that thing?
We will post a link to this trailer because prepare yourself for probably the dumbest looking movie you've ever seen.
Tried so hard to find that like somewhere somehow.
I did too. All of my ships, my port of sales failed me. Like this movie is impossible to find.
I actually found some interviews, but that was like it, like him talking about it, and then I was like, no, I want the actual movie.
Maybe they purposefully made it disappear. It was that.
For anyone who doesn't know, what's the name of it? It's called Soul.
Oh, Soulmates.
Where JiSoo teams up with a Filipino trans woman in order to help her find her Korean boyfriend who dumped her for a biological woman. Am I off? That's the synopsis?
Something like that. And it's also set in the Philippines too, right?
No, I thought that she comes to Korea to find, and that's how she meets poor JiSoo, who's probably looking for love.
Maybe.
In all the wrong places.
I don't know, because one of the things said that he was gay, but then the trailer looked like his character was falls in love with the girl or something.
The trans woman.
That's the premise. He's supposed to try and romance the girl away from the guy so that the Filipino woman can get her man back or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he actually falls in love with her, but she's pregnant.
clear,
It's a whole.
To be clear, it didn't look charming at all. It looked
No.
not poorly done, but like.
But I don't even think it was a Korean-made movie, too.
No.
I think it just happened to have him in set. Like, I think that
It was like a
also the
Filipino
thing.
movie. Yeah.
Oh, the
They were
trailer
like,
on English too. I forgot to mention that part.
Yes, he does speak incredible English in the trailer. Yeah, it looks like an all-around terrible movie that I wouldn't be surprised if he attempted to make disappear from his.
He paid his agency to.
I
will side with you if you guys make this go away, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've made a huge mistake.
Make it go away.
He's like, I got the money. Now let's just like shove it in the corner.
So, but I mean, he was willing to do that part once upon a time.
So
that's true. Like, he doesn't have any qualms about it. Trying to find it.
I mean, the concept of the story is not what was bad about it. When we read the concept, we were like, okay, we want to watch this.
Yeah.
And then we watched the trailer and said, oh no, we do not want to watch this.
Okay. I found the IMDb on it, and it says a gender-bending tale of a Filipino transgender woman and a Korean discreet gay man who meet and date each other. Soulmates, 2014.
So
the trailer
was
was
at all.
nothing like that.
No, the trailer did not indicate.
No, it
of
didn't at all.
The trailer's so bad. Like, it's one of those ones that, like, you need to watch just to be like, oh, you poor baby. What were like you like what bills did you need to pay? Like, why? A discreet gay man. I think that pretty much describes most gay men in Korea. Like,
but in the trailer, it wasn't obvious. Like,
it wasn't obvious
not
that
obvious
he was
at all.
gay, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a little bit. Like, in the trailer, it looked like he fell in love with the other girl.
Yeah, like it was like some sort of like travel.
And let's be honest. If he's falling in love with a Filipino trans woman, he's bi. It's like, I always hate this. Just like, like, I think back to my Buffy the Vampire Slayer days, when they're like, Willow's gay. I'm like, she had a long-term male boyfriend. She's clearly bisexual with a preference for women. Okay.
Let's get it right.
Let's get it right. He's
Come on,
a discreet bisexual man. Okay.
We talked about our first Jisoo. What is our favorite Jisoo? Like, is it the same? Is it different? Like, my favorite Jisoo is Angry Mom Jisoo, because I have proclivity to Nuna romance.
Mm-hmm.
And I quite enjoyed watching him totally fall in love with the girl who turned out to be the mother of his classmate. I really, really enjoyed that. And he had that same sassy go-go tragic, backstory kind of thing going on.
I mean, I think Sassy Go-Go for me is my favorite just because he's so good. Like, it really shows his acting ability in that. I haven't seen a lot of Jisoo, so, like, I don't know, like, if I saw something else, I would say it differently. But right now, just, like, his level of acting, especially that being a high school drama. And it was, what's the year on it? Like, it's a while ago, right? Or
2015?
Yes, a couple years ago.
I want to say, like, 15 or 14, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, like, not, like, super fresh new, like, you know, as he's, gotten older and, like, gotten more into the acting scene. But, yeah, I really liked him in that, just purely because of his talent in that.
Like, I have to agree with you on that one. I just thought that he, like, really brought his A game. And while most of the actors did bring their A game, he brought it so much.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, the real standout.
It was also, like, a role that I think could have gotten, like, really crazy really fast, and he was able to kind of keep it consistent and not get into this, like, weird place that, like, would almost kind of, like, make it seem cornier or, like, diminish what was going on with him in that show. So that's what I really liked.
It had
gravitas.
Like an authenticity to it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've known people who had abusive parents and depression and all this, and, like, it had, like, he managed to capture that without going over the top, but just, and making it, like, very concrete and real. So,
I don't have a vote. I haven't seen enough. I just know that I need to watch more of them.
Yes. And he was very good in Scarlet Heart as well, but that's like a weird character arc because he starts out kind of buffoonish, like he's kind of ridiculous at the beginning, and then he just becomes tragical like everyone else in that drama. Like as soon as they start killing off brothers, like
yep,
womp womp. That's pure tragedy for everyone involved in that.
Would we like to talk about Page Turner?
Yes, we would.
Sure.
We all watched a, what do you call it, a drama special? I mean, it was
That's
3
weird.
episodes.
Yeah, like a miniseries. Yeah.
Miniseries.
Yeah.
Called Page Turner. What year was that? I don't even know. Just in the midst of all those other shows.
2016.
Oh, so after those.
So 2 years ago. Same year as Doctors, Scarlet Heart, fantastic, and weightlifting fairy Kim Bok.
Wow,
he was busy.
Year.
He was a busy boy, and he also made One Way Trip that year too.
Wow.
Another tragic. So he was a busy boy in 2016.
Wow.
Page Turner was so good.
I really liked it. Yeah,
But
I was surprised how much I liked it.
I know. I was actually surprised too. Like I have like a music background, and I was watching it, and I was like, so true.
Yeah,
so true. Like,
this is everything that like happened. I was like, oh yeah. Like I wasn't really big into piano, but I know like that was my life growing up. So like it got me there. I was like, okay, this is a really great show.
I just loved how venomous her mother was until like the last episode. Like just so just out of touch with her daughter. Like, come on. Your daughter goes blind after an accident. Whose first thought is, I hope she can play the piano again?
Yeah. I love that scene where she's like, listen, Mom, you told me I couldn't ride a bike before because I might hurt my hands, but I really wish I'd been able to ride a bike while I could have still seen it.
Yeah.
What I was doing,
like, it was cool to see the animals, and now I can't. And I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah. That was so ouch. And I think that was where her mom started to turn it around a little bit, right?
I also loved how much JiSoo's character tries to like be nice to her mom. Yeah. So it's just like, no, I hate you. Leave me alone.
He's going to change his own style to accommodate her mother.
Yeah. Like,
I don't look like a gangster anymore, do I? No, now you look like a loan shark.
I know, like, what I sort of love about it is that he doesn't change, like, he sort of changes himself in meaningful ways for the girl, but changes himself in completely superficial ways for the mom, because the girl can't see what he looks like anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Well, and he's so just charmingly optimistic through the whole thing. Yeah. Like, even when everything is falling apart for him, for people who don't know, like, the premise is he's basically an Olympic athlete, like Olympic hopeful athlete, and he injures himself humorously.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Whole thing. And they, like, the tragic accident, okay, it's not actually that bad, but you've got years of spinal damage, and if you keep doing this, you're going to be, in a wheelchair, basically. And so you have to give up your dream and find something new. And his mom tells him that his dad, who he's never met, is actually this famous concert pianist. And so, because he's in a super big funk and very depressed and popping bubble wrap every day.
So who doesn't do that under press?
There's nothing more soothing than just
so then it's a new dream. He's like, okay, I can't be an Olympic athlete, but I'll be a concert pianist. And school is like, no, like, it doesn't work that way. You can't just decide you're a concert pianist and get into music school like that. You haven't touched it before.
But he's an optimistic, and he's clever. Like, I wouldn't say that he's smart character, but he's clever enough to figure out ways to achieve his goals.
He works his butt off.
He works very hard.
He's very driven. And he's also driven, his, like, ongoing thing is that he's very much driven in making sure that his mom has the life that she wants. And, like, that's his, like, going goal is to make his mom, life happy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the second male lead. Though I can't really call them male leads because there wasn't actually
Not really a romance.
Okay. There was
Yeah.
not maybe the inklings of a
It was
trying,
like
but it was very innocent.
relationships and like figuring
Yeah.
out like
They were more just
your
like
path
good
in
friends.
life.
On the guy's side, there was way more than the girls like just trying to
The
survive.
girl is just trying to teach them how to teach him to play piano and like get out of high school and get rid of her mom like running.
Yeah, and learn to live blind.
Yeah.
That's
She's
like,
got a lot
busy.
on like she doesn't need romantic entanglements.
Yeah.
And then you have like the two male leads. And I really at first you don't want to like sympathize with the second male lead. He's kind of a piece of shit. But then when you like learn more about him, he suddenly becomes a very sympathetic character. And he's not like a bad guy. He was just raised by a bad person. So he has a nice arc.
And then, I really liked his arc, how they like played it out, because I thought that was a really nice like transition to be like, this is actually genuinely I'm okay with this person, as opposed to like we just forced it into being like a good person.
Well, like because he was just his dad had forced him to be so driven, and then the moment that he's not perfect, his dad is like, well, you should just give it up because what's the point of wasting all your time if you're only going to be a piano teacher if you don't become famous. Like
there's no in between.
Yeah,
You're either a famous concert pianist or you're just a school like a piano teacher. Like,
you're just a part-time piano teacher. Like, there's
in between here.
many different stages teaching piano out of your living room and being like a world traveling concert pianist. Like there's quite a few different options. So then he like gives up thinking that he's not talented, right? And then I thought actually, so the most resonating scene was when he plays for her and she doesn't know that it's him and tells him you should never stop playing piano because you have incredible talent and you're amazing. Mm-hmm. And then he just starts to cry. I was like, oh.
That was my favorite.
JiSoo's character makes sure to have her repeat that for him.
Yeah. And can you say that the guy's shoulder and like,
very, very romantic. Like, I believe in you, buddy. I believe. And then her mom even comes around.
Yeah. Because also her mom has been like another person in his life that has like looked down on him too. Yeah. So like he's had both his dad and her mom, and so like that ending where she finally is like, yeah, you were good. It like really was like impactful for him.
Yeah, I liked
one
of my things with the second lead's story was I loved that like he was very religious and he like, you know, he's so angry at her and she looks down at him so much, and he goes to church in the first episode and he's just praying to Jesus like, take her down a notch. She's so mean and she's so rude to me and she just needs to be taught a lesson. And like, amen. And his phone rings and it's like his cousin or whatever telling him like, she was just in a car accident and she's blind and may never play piano again. And he's like, not like that.
And then he sort of internalizes all this guilt, which then comes out like when he's like following her to make sure she gets to school okay. And like
that's how God works. He's like,
immediately.
One time, I'll blind her.
Like, oh, you're such a pious little guy.
Jesus like looking down at him off the wall, and he's like, Jesus is staring at me.
No, my question is, it's never actually made clear if anyone ever tells her that it wasn't JiSoo playing with her.
Okay, that's what actually really got me. Like, not that I needed a ton more story. It's not that I needed her to date one of them. It wasn't anything like that. But I was really thinking, knowing her personality and knowing her temper, she's not going to be cool with that automatically. Like, there's no way.
I also thought it was weird because I feel like she would have had to have known. She's so in tune with music, but like it really is like you can hear someone play like the same piece and like be like, oh, that's that person playing. And he was like very heavy-handed. Like during the entire thing, you could tell when he was playing, like that was him playing. So like I don't know if like their intention was that she just was so caught up in like being blind and also like trying to figure out her own life and being like, this is the first time that I actually am liking piano as opposed to being forced to do piano, that it was just like, we're just not even going to deal with it. So she doesn't have to focus on that one thing.
Either that or I thought none of us would notice.
Yeah.
That's
They weren't expecting us to analyze it this deeply.
I definitely feel like it's a story that could have had more episodes. Like,
Yeah.
you could have had an 8 episode and not had to add much. Like,
Yeah.
there was enough story going on there that you could have told more of it.
Yeah, there were like little side
fleshed
characters
some things
that
out for.
I kind of wanted to know more about, like that homeless dude. No, he wasn't homeless. He was like the guy who was like selling random stuff.
The guy from Healer.
Yeah.
This fancy piano in there.
Piano.
Yeah.
Which somehow sounded amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about that guy. And who's his actual dad?
yeah.
The guy.
I wondered if it was him.
That's what I thought too. I was like, oh,
maybe he's naturally gifted at knitting, and that was just never explored.
I do like at the end, they like, because you can't hear him play, that they really set it up really nicely, because it was like with, you know, the other two doing their competition, that it was like, when he was playing, it was like, you know how your mom just like loves you for who you are and like just will love anything you do and like will just think it's the best thing. I like that moment. It was the mom thinking that her son was doing this like gorgeous thing, like when he's just like sitting there playing at that like random piano, because he can't be that good. I mean, like he just can't get that good like that fast.
Well, it was sort of indicated at the end too that he does continue.
Yeah, definitely.
A confident pianist.
Which you can keep up, but it's like in a month or something that the.
Well, I mean,
3 months, right?
In that many months, right? In 3 months or whatever, he became
that good.
Way better than I was after 3 years. Totally. Right.
But I think I just liked it because it just hinted more about his relationship with his mom, because that was his big central like relationship. So it was like just really nice, like he's playing it for his mom and no one else, as opposed to him playing it for the girl.
Yeah. What I like about the show, from a JiSoo's standpoint, is that while he didn't have a tragic ending, he didn't get the girl either.
No.
So perfect. Just they knew. See, it's even to become like an 8 episoder, they would have had to like address.
Well, what I'm thinking is, if it had been
tension.
8 episodes, you could have dealt with it okay. If they had tried to make 16, there would have been a secret. It would have turned out her dad was his dad too.
Yeah, some nonsense. Yeah,
right.
No. It's a beautiful, short, like compact story that you can watch in a couple hours. It's like a little more than a movie.
And as far as not having really romance in it, it was still really charming. Like,
very charming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the music was beautiful. The acting was good.
It's on Viki. It's easy to find.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's nice to watch a high school drama that's not a romance.
Yeah.
Because they always seem to be setting it up like, this is forever. And, like, they'll, like everybody who, dates a guy when they're 16 gets married to him. I mean, some people do, but not everybody. Not like he is married to the person they dated when they were 16. Like,
no, like I met my husband in high school, but we didn't date until many years after. And I'm thinking back on the guys I did date in high school.
Yeah, no.
Let's just say I had very low self-esteem and bad standards. They were all very stick buggy, but unlike Lee Min Ki, never became hot. They're just basically human skeletons.
Mr. Stickbug.
No, I dated like tall, super skinny dudes in high school, and I was short and junky, so I look back on like pictures, and I'm like, what was I thinking? So yeah. I like a good high school drama without any romance as well. Actually, I like dramas without romance quite a bit. I do like romance, though.
Yeah.
But like,
places.
Exactly.
Well, I like when they don't do the high school drama and have the kissing, because usually the kissing in the high school drama is the pancake press, lip press. It's just like, can you just not? Like, School 2018 had a romance.
Yeah.
they never kissed, and you didn't even really notice that they never kissed because it was just so good and so well done. You were like, yeah, this is okay. Like, I'm not missing it.
The old dead fish kiss. The dramas need to retire that. It takes you immediately out. You're like, that's not how people kiss. Like that's how people who are being forced to kiss. That's not how people who like each other kiss. Like,
even if you don't know how to kiss, that is not how you kiss.
Yeah, it's like tilt the heads a little. Like they don't have to go straight at one another.
Their mouths are not open. Their lips are not even puckered a little bit.
They look like they hurt.
Together. Like they're just like it's like someone took two mannequins and pushed their faces together. Like it's not
like five with your faces. It's not been.
It's better to obviously just avoid it than to actually do that.
Yeah. Just
watched a Chinese
Black or something.
And that was the actress in it is like known for how bad she kisses. She was the actress in Love 020, and like the kissing scenes in that, like he's working so hard and she looks like being assaulted like every single time.
He was working his butt off to look like a romantic gentleman. She was giving him nothing. Not to say I don't love Love 020, because I do. So
Absolutely.
Cute. But girl.
So
and seriously, you're acting off of this like hunky McSex face, and you're not gonna get a little fun while you're there. Like, come on.
I just watched her in My Story for You, and it's the true story of the author's life with his wife, like how they met, how they get married and have kids and all this stuff. And so I'm thinking, like, they gotta show kissing, like it's their epic romance, right? And they never did. And like you kind of notice it at times, but it was always done in that sort of old school tasteful way where it was like, you know, they're in the living room flirting with each other and joking around, and then he's like chasing her off to the bedroom and they're laughing and giggling. Like
then you see like, you know, under the covers things moving, and
they didn't even do that stuff.
Oh, they didn't even get that far.
Bedroom and off screen. And, you know, and then you find out later, you know, she's had a baby. Like, they didn't even do pregnancy. She was, like, talking about how she wanted to have a baby. She was ready. And then they time skipped ahead a year and a half or something. And she's a baby. Like,
baby
existed. I think Johnny Kwang is in that. And he's, like the best friend or something. And he has a couple of tragic little romances. And got to see him do some kissing, but main couple, no kissing, because they knew she's bad.
That's so bad.
Is it time for your commercial, Natalia?
Oh, I guess it is. Do you love JiSoo's salty sadness as much as we do? Well, if you visit the shop, you will find a JiSoo Salty Tears beautiful design, which you can purchase in water bottle, phone case, t-shirt, whatever. It's all sorts of stuff. Share your love of JiSoo. Help me, I'm poor. help support this podcast.
It's an awesome design.
It is a good design.
Oh, yay. Moving on. Moving on from the worst advertisement in history.
We could write dramas, but commercials?
Not so much. Oh, goodness.
We'll have to hire a secondary writer to add the CFs.
I'm actually looking at our notes, which I probably should have been looking at, because someone took the time.
Oh, I didn't take the time. I just threw it up there.
Jesse wrote an actual blurb that we should have probably used. Oy vey. We'll save that for next week. It'll be fine. We'll get this whole product placement thing down.
Don't worry, there are many more designs.
And if you do love PPL, there is actually a Subway themed design, very popular in the store. Check it out. You'll love it. Woo! Okay. I think now we're gonna talk about Jesse's wine pairing for the trip.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, I was trying to think of wines to go with JiSoo, and I can't find my notes. There it is. Cool. And I just so happened to be actually in the middle of Sassy Go-Go on a specific episode. There's an episode in Sassy Go-Go where the kids are kind of at like a dinner retreat at their cheerleader's house. The cheerleader and the homeroom teacher just aren't there for some reason. And so the kids are eating and they get, thirsty. So one of the girls goes into the refrigerator and she grabs juice. But it's not juice. It's wine.
Classic.
Yeah. And in the actual episode, they don't talk about what specifically it is because it's in like a picture and there's no label. It looks to be homemade and they just describe it. And so I did some research and I found what I think is the wine for this. So this is my pairing for the week. Wine is Bok Bunja Ju, which is a blackberry type wine. It is super sweet because Bok Bunja is a blackberry native to Korea. And that's what it's primarily made of. It's more of a dessert wine than anything, and it is red, which in the show it was red. It also has a higher alcohol content, which is why the kids drank so little and got so drunk.
So drunk.
So fast. It averages about 15 to 19% alcohol as opposed to
Jesus.
9% wine. And then kind of if this actually was like specifically picked for the show, I found when I was like researching it that the scientists have actually studied these blackberries and found that they increase testosterone levels and sperm counts in mice. So it's an aphrodisiac. Wow. There is actually I found one website, and I'll try to remember to link it in the notes, that was talking about kind of the history of this wine. And there's a Korean legend that's associated with the wine about a monk that lost his way in the mountains, and he happened upon the berry and he ate the berry, and then somehow, some way, his urine stream was so powerful that it broke the urinal, and that's like the history of this wine. But it's guys. No. I found like a movie that had this like reference in it, but it was really old, like from the 70s and very poor on YouTube.
That sounds like a 1970s thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I found a lot about this wine, but I think that's what this is. So the Bok Bunja Ju is the wine that I'm pairing for this week that I just thought was fitting because JiSoo actually drinks it during the show.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
wow.
Make sure you're near a restroom if you drink it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, so now it's time for my fan fiction corner. So, this week, I did search far and wide for JiSoo related fan fictions, and while I did manage to find a few of them, most of them only had like a chapter or two, which personally I think that's not really enough to recommend them yet. Like,
It's also very tragic.
Yeah, I just want
Come on.
I just want more, right? So there was actually a really promising one that was like him and Nam Joo-hyuk fighting for the same girl, but it only had one chapter, so I feel like he's probably not gonna come out the winner on that one either. So instead of that, in honor of us all watching Page Turner, I went and I looked for a piano-themed fan fiction and managed to find a very wholesome NCT fic by the username LVNACRE. It follows a pretty standard K-drama plot, and so I'm pretty sure that the writer is not just into NCT, but probably dabbles in the K-dramas as well. So the story follows Johnny, a piano player who has given up playing after an accident, and Nara, a woman pining for her ex who left years previously to go work in Japan, who also plays the piano, having given up her dream of being an architect because her ex told her she'd make a better piano player. So clearly she's
opposite of K-drama, like choose art over architecture.
Yeah, I know. So it's like pretty standard K-drama fare. And it's written pretty well for a fan fiction. We all know how wildly they can vary in quality. It also features other NCT members filtering in and out, playing various roles, such as Johnny's friends who are in a band, and his little brothers that he takes care of. So, like, they're really age bending characters. Unlike most fan fictions that I come across, this does not have a mature rating. I know. So you can feel free to read it in public because it's about as spicy as, I don't know, Bride of the Century, which was the least spicy K-drama ever created. The main woman's character is pretty indecisive, and so she can be a little annoying because she's kind of all over the place. And Johnny's reasons for leaving piano are, like, tenuous at best. Like, they're pretty stupid, which is, basically pretty K-drama that way. So all in all, it's like a cute little fan fiction that'll take you, I don't know, like an hour to read. It's not super long, but it's a nice contained story. Piano's involved. And it actually sort of reminded me a little bit of Page Turner. There's like some, like injury, tragedy, and yeah. So that's called The Piano and the Past. It's a very great title.
Piano and the Past.
The Piano and the Past by LVN Aker. I don't know if I don't know how this is supposed. It'll be linked. We'll link it. Don't worry about it. Sometimes the usernames, they got letters and numbers and special signs, so. So it's on Wattpad and can be read for free. Yay!
So I guess I'll do my Songs with Sky part. So JiSoo is actually in a few music videos. The first one, and probably most well known, is Bull 4's Wind, and it's really, really cute. He kind of gets the girl, but it's through a daydream, so... But I'm going to consider that a win for him. At the end, it seems like they're at least interested in each other, so hey, at least it's not tragic. Or maybe that's not good that it's not tragic. I don't know. Then
Can't make up our mind.
Yeah. Then he was in a series of 5 music videos, and they're called Story About. It was episodic. It kind of built on each other, but it was different musicians for each one. Gugudan and Roy Kim were a couple of the artists for the various episodes. There were others as well. And it's pretty cute. It starts off, you see the relationship between JiSoo's character and the main girl build. So even the first episode is very much, they're not even dating yet. They just see each other. Things like that. So it's gradual, and then there is even kind of a episode where it's not tragic, but there's conflict. And he's not paying enough attention to her, but she, of course, doesn't say anything about it. That type of thing. But I thought it ended pretty well. I mean, it wasn't obvious, but it seems like they kind of worked out their differences. And I liked how each episode, the tone of the episode changed to fit the music. So there was one of them that felt more of a dream, not really a daydream. It seemed more from his perspective that he really wanted to kiss her, which really reflected the song. And so they had a lot of lights and stuff to make it seem like he kept thinking about kissing her, but they weren't there yet, and he wasn't ready to ask that. But I thought it was pretty neat. I couldn't find any other music videos, but we'll link those, and if you want to check it out. So he kind of gets the girl twice in music videos, maybe.
So maybe music video is his genre then.
Yeah,
I mean, just do music videos for happy endings.
And I was surprised there was no tragedy in his music videos. Shocking.
For me, for my craftiness this last few weeks, the inspiration, I made this giant hair bow. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. I got a knitting pattern book, and that was one of the things in it, and I just happened to I was traveling, and I had the yarn and the needles and stuff, so I was like, oh, I'll knit this hair bow. But a couple of weeks ago, or over the last couple of weeks, I, on my Twitter, had shared some article. It was like this, one of those 40 things you should never do after you're 40.
Oh, I hate
And,
those.
one of those garbage whatevers, right? And, like, they were ridiculous things. Like, a few of them, like, don't buy cheap mattresses. Okay, I'll buy that. I'm over 40. I don't want to sleep on a cheap mattress anymore. My bones deserve better. But then it was like, don't buy a new gaming system because you're too old to waste your time on stuff like video games. And don't ever buy things that have bows on them because you are too old and mature for that kind of garbage. You don't deserve cute things anymore, Grandma. And you're like, I'm 40. Shut up.
You're like, I'm not dead.
And it kind of started a conversation, and like a couple of my mutuals were like, what? I own like 3 shirts with bows on them. Look at this cute shirt that I am wearing with like, it's off the shoulder and has a cute bow, and she looked adorable and like awesome. And I was like, yeah. And then I'm out shopping, and like every purse that I see that I think is cute has a bow on it. And I'm like, you know what? And they're too expensive for small children to be paying for. So like,
Exactly.
they are clearly, Betsy Johnson is not marketing her purses to 15-year-old girls. I'm just saying, okay?
You're right. You're right.
So my craft this time was my big ol' over 40 bow that I will put on a barrette and put in my hair.
Wear it proudly.
Exactly.
Haters.
And the way that ties into Jisoo, I just, because this is the Jisoo episode, my favorite Jisoo is the Angry Mom Jisoo. And like I said, that's a huge Nuna romance. And like, it's not really a romance. He has a big crush on her. She's looking at him like, you're my daughter's classmate. And no, I'm not into like 16-year-old boys. So, because I'm 32. Like, but the actress is actually like 15 years older than Jisoo. And I guess at the time when it came out, she actually had to like do damage control because they had such good chemistry and they worked so well together in those scenes that she had to do interviews saying like it's just acting and apologize. Basically, she did interviews apologizing for having such good chemistry with her younger co-star because, I'm sorry that I'm so good at my job and he's so good at his job that we made you believe that there was something going on because there's nothing going on because he's like 20 and I'm 35, right? Like,
so stupid.
But also, I'm pretty sure he was in his early 20s at the time. Like, he wasn't 16 and, like he was a minor. He was playing a minor, but he wasn't actually a minor, right? Yeah. So, like, get over it.
Like,
how many younger girls are playing that, like, guys are like,
seriously.
Look, she's 18.
Have to say anything.
Throw the romance with a 30-year-old man. Let's go.
Like 18-year-olds do. They're all into, 30-year-old men.
Yeah.
I
would like to say I cannot remember the name of the actress who's in Angry Mom right now. I want to say Kim Hee-sun, maybe. But she is fabulous looking, and like Jisoo would be so lucky. Like,
we have this discussion online a lot, the 4 of us, where we always talk about like inappropriate age gaps, and like I think that if you're both legal, who cares? My parents had 30 years between them. It wasn't weird. Well, it was weird for other people. I will admit this. He got called my grandpa a lot. Which I guess is what happens when your youngest child is born when you're in your late 70s. But
they were both consensual about the relationship, right? Okay.
Like, yeah. So I don't have a problem with it. However, I do have a problem with like when they cast sort of these sort of underage girls and like put them in like weird sort of pseudo-sexual situations. It makes me feel gross. I don't like it, guys. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't like it. Stop doing that, please. K-dramas. And not just K-dramas, like, you know, that's like a world-round thing. Like, let's just not.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like women hit 25 and are suddenly no longer sexy enough to star with 27-year-old male leads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, guys. You can
Yeah.
cast,
Okay,
can
we
cast
don't
them.
mind.
Yeah. They still look great. So.
And I'm sure you have a pool of actors who are that young that could be playing those roles. Like, or just
100%. They don't
play them. Don't put like someone who's 18 in a role that she's supposed to be like 26 and she looks like she's 14. It still doesn't work for the show. Like, visually you're like, oh, this is kind of creepy when that's not the intention of the show.
It just makes us look at it and be like, oh, okay. But no, please stop. So that's a little ending message to Korea. Stop it. Just stop it.
Stop.
Like, also, stop vilifying these older women who act with younger men. That's their job. To bring it back to Jisoo. They're actors. That's like, it's not real. It's make-believe. That's what they're doing.
And quite frankly, if you're an actress and you can't muster up some chemistry with Jisoo, then you should rethink your career. Like, I'm just saying.
Like, he's just full-on charisma all the time.
Lovely.
Oh, he's so lovely. He's so lovely.
And that is why he's been our mascot from, like, square one.
Square one. We were just, like, Jisoo fangirls. Like,
even the girls who hadn't seen him in anything.
Yeah, we're like...
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't bad on the eyes. He ain't bad on the heart. You know? Well, he's a little...
He's talented.
Really a little bad on the heart.
He is a brilliant actor. He really is.
Yes. He needs to be, like, cast in more, because, like, he's very excellent, and it's not just us saying this. Other people agree.
That's true. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of Bad Guys, and he was not in that a lot. Mostly what he did in those first couple episodes was get in fights. It was mostly fights. He was tragic. His sister is in a coma, and he's trying to find the people who put her there, basically. And, you know, but, like, even that, it was good. Like, it was good. It felt tragic. You felt his anger and his pain, and it was just too depressing for me and not really my genre, so I let it go.
As is your right.
Yeah.
I liked Bad Guys. I liked the first season better, but I thought it was good casting for him. I feel like he should probably do more varied works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, more crime stuff. He's pretty good at that. He has kind of cop face.
Yeah. He's good at the serious.
He's got cop face. So, but not like super cop face, but like just enough cop face that you're like, you should play a rookie cop. Yeah, cop face. Not like hardened cop face, like young, fresh cop face.
Yeah.
You know?
Just out of the academy.
Hasn't been jaded by the job. Yeah. This has been the Certified Nunas. We can be found on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and even Facebook if you like that sort of thing. We love chatting and hearing your comments, so please reach out to us. Our username is always @CertifiedNunas. Our podcast is on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and even Spotify when it wants to work. So, we'll be back soon with more talk and laughs about our love of Asian entertainment, so stay safe and keep listening.